Hey, YouTube, it's another perfect day in God's country, and I ain't lying. Beautiful day to take a rip with old Lucky Haskins, eh? I started to make a video about, 15, 20 minutes ago, but it is absolutely so ape shit crazy, batshit fucking crazy at my house every single morning. As soon as I pour a cup of coffee, it begins, and there's just simply no time to accomplish anything because of all the swinging doors, people calling me, people stopping by the house, just nonstop. So I had to pause and start over basically on my video. I was a little frustrated with all the activity and said, hell with it, I'm getting into Bullnose and I got to go deliver some gumballs. Lucky for me, this old 85 F-250, she'll haul a lot of gumballs, so that's pretty good. So I'm starting to feel a little better, and I thought, shit, I ought to pull over and go ahead and make this video today. And I was going to give you guys the tour of this truck while I fired her off and let her warm up, but like I said, too many people coming and going at my house. But pretty much I'm about 8 miles down the road, driving on the ice-covered roads, and it's raining out, so up here in the Great Superior State, we get 11 months of winter and 30 days of rain, and oftentimes we get both at the same time. So after the fantastical ice storm we've had, well, there's nothing like getting a good little rainstorm when it's 20 degrees freedom height outside, and that's about as slick as the roads can possibly get. So good day to take the old F-250 with a pair of good working front brakes out for a rip. And, we'll get her done that way. But I just pulled up here. The rain stopped for a minute. Thought I'd show you guys what we're dealing with. This is a pretty clear, clean stretch of road right here. So I thought I'd pull over here and maybe nobody will hit me from behind. About every 25 minutes a car comes along over here. So got to keep my eyes peeled for that. But anyway, I wanted to take you guys out for a rip. It's not too cold today, but as a resident Uber, member of the Great Superior State here, I'm always prepared because I know how to layer. In the wintertime in the UP, you have to layer. You need about 4 or 5 layers of clothes and typically 4 or 5, 6 layers of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and you're pretty much good for just about anything Mother Nature can throw at you at that point. So, as we know, there's no winter plates on this truck, but I am driving around with a bill of sale somewhere, so we'll hope that we don't get, a long arm of the law snooping around us at all. But otherwise, the old F-250 fired right up. It's nice and warm here in the cab. And, hell, let's go for a rip with old Lucky Haskins here. What do y'all think? Yeah, we're rolling. Look at that. Second gear you start in these. Like I said, first gear is only if they put first gear in these trucks, because if your neighbor pisses you off, you can just hook your truck up to his house and pull it right off the damn foundation. That's all first gear is good for in these trucks. So now I'm in third gear. You can hear she getting ready to top off. We're only at about 30 mile an hour. That's 30 mile an hour. We're driving on rain-covered ice, so it's kind of about like stepping on whale shit on an iceberg. It's about how slick it is out here. So, but all you married guys, ain't nothing to be afraid of. If you've been married enough times, you ain't afraid of shit like this. You just go out and go for a rip, right? But, yeah. A little nice slippery rain on top of an ice-covered road. 19, 20 degrees freedom height. That'll be fine. Let's go, let's go. So, now y'all are official members of the Little Pecker Club. This old F-250 got me grinning from ear to ear, boys. I like this truck. I like all my Ford trucks, but this one is already special to me, and I've only had it for 2 days. This truck already had a special place in my heart when I was on my way to get it. I had a friend with me And he wanted to look this thing over like crazy because I was going to drive it 129 miles on ice-covered roads all the way home. It was kind of funny. I wish I had a GoPro and could have filmed that. Y'all would have got a kick out of that. My friend was real serious, checking the belt tension and all these things, and I'm telling him, don't touch anything. She got brake pedal and she's running. We're good. I'm like, don't touch anything until we get it home. You might break something, man. She's running and I got brake pedal. That's all we need, boys. Let's go. So him and I didn't see eye to eye on that one. He's trying to mess with stuff under the hood. And I said, no, don't be touching shit. It's a 40-year-old truck, man. She fired right off. She's warming up. Got good brakes. Transmission's working. Clutch feels great. Heater works. Hubs are locked. She's in 4x4. High, of course. Again, you don't really use 4x4 low unless your neighbor pisses you off and you want to pull his house off the foundation. Back in 1985, out in the country, we handle our own business. We didn't have police out in the country in 1985. The entire time I was growing up out in the dairy farm country, I don't ever remember seeing a police officer out there, other than my dad. But he lived there. So, there's that. I never saw a police officer patrolling in any way, shape, or form. And nor did we call them, nor did we want them. And I can tell you guys some great stories about living in farm country. Every now and again, we was out there in the 70s, so every now and again, the new guy would build a little fancy house in between the dairy farms. People thought they was cool, and we had one guy lived out on the main highway, but he had a dairy farm on each side of him. The one fella had about 800 acres, the other guy a few hundred acres, and he built this fancy little ranch. Well, this fella liked to get drunk and drag race his cars up and down the blacktop because there wasn't no traffic out there, which was all right, but these farmers didn't like it. But I lived about a mile from that guy, and one day I was outside with my dad. We was working on the old tractor, and we hear this stereo just jamming, and everybody knows where it's coming from. We called them folks chicken heads. They were probably pretty cool. They like to drink a lot, play their stereo really loud, drag race their cars out on the blacktop. But that wasn't how most people lived out there, We took our trucks down to 2 tracks and stuff. So the farmers weren't big fans of the old chicken heads. Well, one Saturday afternoon, we're outside. It's probably 2 in the afternoon. My dad's drinking a Pabst Blue Ribbon, smoking a Winston. And from about a mile away down there at the chicken heads, we could hear that stereo just cranking. This guy's out working on his old Cutlass. And he's got them Pioneer 6x9s just cranking. Got the trunk open and all that. The whole damn farm country. Listening to, what was we listening to there? Rockin' into the night. Rockin' into the night. Right? Lucky was enjoying it. But the rest of the farmers wasn't always so happy about Mr. Chickenhead drinking beer, working on his car, and cranking his stereo. So the moral of the story is me and my dad sitting out there minding our own business, and I'm sitting there rocking out to the 38 Special, and we hear a big old distinct sound of a 12-gauge shotgun. Kapow! Over the music. And all of a sudden you hear the music turn off. And way in the distance you hear one of them old farmers. I do believe it was Mr. Roger Ward. And we hear loud and clear from a mile away, folks. Next one's going through your speakers, you asshole! That's country life in 1985, boys. People took care of their own business. And boy, I'll tell you what. You piss off old Roger Ward, make him fire up one of his trucks and come looking for you, boy, you better hide. Because that sumbitch wasn't fucking around. He wasn't a real big fan of all the new folks moving out to farm country. In the late 70s is when people started moving out of the cities. buying 5-acre and 10-acre parcels and buying a $30,000 John Deere lawnmower and pretending they were country folks. The farmers didn't like that at all until they sold their land and realized all them guys made them turn the farmers into millionaires. But hey, we're about to go down a big hill here, and she ain't got no front, nothing but front brakes. So we're gonna do a little engine braking here. When you drop one of these old Bullnose down in third gear from fourth, you better make sure you're doing the right speed, or it's gonna throw you out the front windshield. By the way, this one's got the old seatbelt delete. It's got some parts of a seatbelt, but nothing on the other side. Which don't bother me, of course. I never started wearing seatbelts until, hell, I was 30 years old or something. But we might have to put some belts in this. My son got in here and went for a rip with me last night. He loves these old Ford trucks just like his dad does. In fact, he made me pop the hood, wanted to know what's going on under the hood, so I showed him around, showed him how the old carburetors work. Now, he's been through this with me before, but I'm always happy that he's maintaining the interest in the real world, these old Ford trucks. We do got pretty wet and sloppy conditions here. Listen to that, boys. Look. This thing's got one of the biggest exhaust pipes on it I've ever seen in my life. Son of a bitch about the size of a family-sized bean can. And I know this because that's what I used to patch up the exhaust on my green Goblin. When you get an chunk of exhaust falls out in one of these old Fords, you just go buy your family one of them family-sized cans of baked beans and have yourselves a good meal, and then cut the top and the bottom off it, and you got a little section of exhaust pipe there. You know, a couple of old coat hangers, or some hose clamps. Torque her down. She's fine. This one here, man, this young fella, you know, them kids are real concerned about the way their trucks sound. And they want them to sound like Lucky's old Fords. And I tell them all the time, mine sound that way because I parked it in the swamp for 20 years. You park yours in the swamp for 20 years, it'll sound that cool too. Because it's only firing on 6 or 7 cylinders. They sound really fucking cool when they're running like that. I'm only serious, boys. But all these young kids, they'll go out and piss away a bunch of their hard-earned Benjamins on these big old fat exhaust pipes and stuff. This youngin' was no different. I don't know if he did it or the last guy did, but I kind of like it. Nothing's overdone. This is not one of them trucks that's going to piss off the whole neighborhood when you come through town. She just sounds really good. A lot of vehicles sounded this way in the 80s when I was growing up. I got my driver's license in 1985, by the way. So I got my first vehicle in 1984, and that was a 1977 Ford Econoline Starcraft conversion van. And of course, that had the bed in the back and everything. And I knew for 3 years before I got my driver's license that my first vehicle was going to be a conversion van because reasons. Don't worry, I'm not like that anymore. Because over the years, I learned how to get the job done on the front seat of a straight cab pickup truck. If the weather's nice, I got an 8-foot bed in the back. Back in those days, we like to get the girls in the back of the van and spend 4, 5, 6 hours with them, you know. Nowadays, that's nothing but a hassle, man. I ain't got about 20 minutes to a half hour of my day I can, fiddle far away doing that, 20-toe tag with the old lady. So, times change. Our priorities change as we get older. So, when I was 15 years old, all I wanted to do was drive around in cool old Fords, chase girls, drink beer, and smoke weed, play a little guitar. Boy, times have changed, huh? Nowadays, I like driving around in old Fords and smoking weed, and drinking beer, and playing guitar. Gone through a lot of changes over the years. Oh, and I only chase one girl around, so, that's a big change. I found that out the hard way, boys. It's weird. Being a man is really weird. Women do not speak fluently. They speak that tricky talk, Gal I was dating, she says, oh, boy, she's telling her girlfriend, I got a great man. He's like, he can fix things. He treats me like a queen. He's just a super nice guy, a really good guy. I really love my boyfriend. And then her friend says, yeah, I got a guy like that too. He treats me like a queen. He's super nice. What a cool guy. Well, later I figured out when you're that super cool guy and you treat him like a queen and show him a good time, I didn't know that you're only allowed to be a good guy to one of them at a time. It took me a long time to figure that out. If other girls figure out you're a good guy too, you're in a lot of trouble, fellas. You can only be a good guy to one at a time. Does that make any sense? Once you're a really good guy and a good dude to one of them, you have to be a total asshole to the other ones. Otherwise, you're not a good guy anymore. How weird is that? If you're a good guy too much to too many women, then you're no longer a good guy. It's kind of baffling. And the women expect us to just figure this out. You know what I mean, fellas? Not really a fair system. It seems kind of rigged if you think about it. It seems rigged, though lucky. We're almost pulling into the old gas station here. Oh. Fill up this 19-gallon tank. This old Ford's like all the rest of them. It only has one tank in it. I got 3 Ford trucks. All of them only work on. I got 3 of these Fords right now. Only none of them are working on more than one tank. Only one of them still has the old tank in it that don't work. That's my 86 Bullnose with the 302 in it. All right, folks. We're going to fill up this 19-gallon tank, and we'll be right back in just a few short minutes. You know what, folks? I had to actually, I got a lot to do, and, we got a full load of gumballs here. Thank God I bought a 250. Eh? She'll haul a lot of gumballs. I got a lot of work to do. I better stop flapping my jaws and start getting her done. I'm going to fill up a couple gas tanks while I'm here, too. So do me a favor, y'all. Ask yourself, who can I help today? And even more importantly than that, go out there and do it.